This is Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank on the Voice of Indiana County, WCCS AM 1160 and 101.1 FM. Our interview is presented by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. And joining us in a separate studio is Mark Hilliard, the president of the Indiana County Chamber of Commerce. Mark, I know one of the topics you wanted to talk about was your initiative concerning Indiana County Ready. And why don't you tell our listeners what that is about?
It helps students to, number one, be aware of what some of these essential skills are, but also to try to practice them a little bit throughout the day-to-day lives, and things like responsibility and professionalism and attendance and communication. Certain things like that seem commonplace for most of us. Truth of the matter is, for our employers, and not just here in Indiana County, but across the entire country, they're saying that those are the skills that are lacking the most. So when they're talking about workforce needs, it's not simply a matter of putting people in those positions, it's a matter of putting quality people in. And the thing that they're lacking the most are essential skills. They don't communicate well, they don't work in a team atmosphere well, and more and more companies are looking for that sort of team environment. So, we're working on with the Indiana County Schools. Last year we kicked off the program. I think out of all, we're really proud of the fact that each school district in the county is doing it, so it's a collaborative effort countywide. And I think we had over 250 students, even though we had, the last couple of months were a little bit challenging, and I think that probably impacted the numbers a little bit because every school went virtual. But we had over 250 students in the county that were certified last year as being certified Indiana County Ready. They're ready with those essential skills. So this year we kicked it off about a week and a half ago. We did a webinar. We couldn't do it in person. Last year we went to each school district, did a presentation. We had representatives from the business community, some different HR representatives with us, and really did a presentation on what these individuals are looking for, what companies are looking for. And we also had schools with us, so IEP or WCCC, because these skills are important whether you're applying for college or whether you're applying for a job. So this year we had to do it via a webinar, and I believe all the school districts have seen the webinar by now, and the program has kicked off. It's a little different than it was last year, and we kind of missed that face-to-face contact, but we're looking to grow it. So one of the things we talked about during our chamber board meeting last week was expanding it and trying to put together a junior chamber program where some of these students that pass the program that are Indiana County Ready, we're going to have them as sort of a focus group with us. They can attend some chamber board meetings once things are a little bit ease up a little bit with the safety precautions. So in a perfect world, they'd be able to attend some of our chamber board meetings, but be part of a focus group that we're working on that would involve some IUP students as well and members of the community to try to look at some bigger picture issues with Indiana County and what we can do to help make it more attractive for people to want to stay here, for students, for younger people, and what things we can do to help bring people back who may have gone away to college or gone away to work.
Speaking of things coming back, we got the news last week, of course, about the former WyoTech campus going to reopen under new ownership with New Village Initiative, and that's got to be big for the county. I mean, you're filling a space that was not, and we're not talking about just a physical space, but we're also talking a gap in employment and a gap in people being in Indiana.
There's still some work to be done there, but I mean, at least we're moving in the right direction with it. And the plans for what they're discussing with it, I'm encouraged by. I hope that things continue to move in this direction, and it's able to happen in the manner that we're expecting it to, because there would be the education piece of it, which was so big back when WyoTech was still around, and there's also a manufacturing component to it as well. So it could be something that could be beneficial to create some jobs, also really beneficial for workforce and training and education. So it's encouraging. It's great that those buildings are still there, and nothing had happened. Sometimes when things get sold, it would be very easy to tear it down or have somebody buy it and just level it up. But instead, the infrastructure was still there, which was really good, and it allowed something like this to happen. So fingers crossed, but things are moving in the right direction. We're still going to work hard to make sure that it goes that way, but that's really, really good news for our county, because that was a big loss when Wyotech left, and this could be something that is as good and maybe even better with that manufacturing component. So it's very exciting.
We're talking with Mark Hilliard this morning here on Indiana in the Morning, and one of the things that you just mentioned was the fact that you had your Chamber of Commerce board meeting for the month of October. I'm sure one of the topics that came up was the carbon tax issue. You have been one of the major opponents to the Reggie plan that Governor Wolf has been pushing through, along with Senator Joe, and you, along with Senator Pittman, State Representative Jim Struzzi, have been trying to get the governor to listen to what Indiana County has to say as far as how it might impact us negatively. But again, the recommendation went through to the Department of Environmental Protection's Environmental Quality Board, and they voted to proceed with the proposal. So what can Indiana County do now?
Well, so here's what's going to happen. I believe that they're going to publish it in the Pennsylvania Bulletin, and then there'll be a 60-day period for public comment, where people can submit their comments. So I would encourage you to keep your eyes open, and believe me, I'm sure those of us throughout this community, whether it's your state legislators or myself, or we're going to make sure that word gets out when it is published, and that 60-day period is going to go by very quickly. So when that happens, we encourage you to get out there and make sure that you make your opinions known. It's very frustrating that there's never been a hearing. There's never been a visit to Indiana County. We're the primary county that would be affected across the entire state, and it just seems as if they just completely ignored that. Mm-hmm. So it's very frustrating. But I would encourage all Indiana County residents, if it's something that you are concerned with, and you all should be concerned with it, because at the very least it's going to raise your energy bill if this would go through, and it's going to do that across the entire state. So make your voice heard. Contact the governor's office
when the comment period start flooding the office. Absolutely. With letters and phone calls. Yeah. Okay, definitely. Now, also at that meeting, I'm taking a look at the email that you sent out, which is very handy for chamber members who aren't able to attend. One of the things that we noticed is that the 3-year strategic plan was brought up.
Yeah, and that's been in the works all year. We were hoping to have it done a little quicker, but COVID hit, and that changed some things up. But we wanted to put together a brand new strategic plan for the chamber, and we're kind of down the final stretch of this here. So we're hoping to have that on our website soon for the public to be able to view. But it focuses on business development, on workforce development, and on chamber development, but business development first and foremost. And it just kind of gives us a little bit of a roadmap over the next few years in terms of where we want to go and how we want to try to accomplish some things. We got a lot of ideas, and certainly want to keep helping our business community. This year's been a little different, and we've changed direction, but I think it's also good for us because we've always been known for events and networking opportunities, and those are all well and good and certainly important, I think, for everybody in the community. But we do a lot more at the Chamber of Commerce, and I think this year kind of showed a lot of that, where we were doing a lot more in terms of being a resource for businesses and being an advocate for businesses at the government level, whether it's local, state, or federal. And there's a lot of things that we do behind the scenes that we do to support our local businesses. And this year we've done them whether they're members of the chamber or not. And we were trying to just be an advocate and a resource for every business because it's a unique time. But we're kind of hopefully coming out of that, and fingers crossed again that hopefully the restrictions continue to get eased up. I know I saw the one bill for restaurants was vetoed by the governor last week.
It was.
But I'm hopeful that maybe we can get a 2/3 majority vote when that goes back to our local legislators. We'll see what happens there, but eventually we are going to start seeing some of those restrictions eased, and that's even better for our businesses. But we do a lot for those businesses, and we just want to make sure we're out there supporting them any way we can.
Definitely better sooner than later. Let's talk about some of the events coming up. We have just a couple minutes left, but let's talk about some of the upcoming chamber member events.
Well, we have two things coming up. I believe it's next week, and I'm going to check my calendar here real quick to make sure that I have it correctly. But I believe next Tuesday we have our Coffee Talk event, which is kind of a networking function. It's you can just get online. It's sort of like a Zoom call with members of the community, and you get to talk about a little bit about what you're doing, what your business is doing, and hear some different things that are going on in the community. We gave a very brief overview here in this interview, but we're going to get more into the weeds with that. So if you're interested in that, you can certainly attend. And then we have a Brains and Grains coming up next Thursday at the Hilton Garden Inn. Now, seating is limited. It's going to be available virtually, but it's also available in person with Government and Civil Employee Services. I believe I'm coming back with Todd and Clinton Smith on this coming Friday to talk more about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I saw a little bit of the presentation last week. They wrote a book, which is fantastic, and I think if you attend this, you're going to take a lot away from it. It's going to be motivational, but also something that can help you get some ideas and ways to better yourself as as an employee, as a business owner, or as a person. I think it's really, really good stuff. It's going to be exciting, and Clinton's a great presenter, so it's definitely going to be entertaining, and there are still some seats available, so I'd encourage you to contact the Chamber office to book your space.
And the number for the Chamber office once again?
465-2511.
And you can also go to indianacountychamber.us.
That's correct.
All right, excellent. Mark, thank you very much for coming in this morning on Indiana in the Morning. All the best to you, my friend, and I'll look forward to hearing that interview with you and Clinton and Todd on Friday.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Mark. Mark Hilliard joining us in our other studio this morning here on Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank, and our interviews presented by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people.